And here's the fun part, and why I say I wanted you to keep it to begin with. Where are the connections? Because I asked you if there were three separate issues, or if they're all connected. You say they're all connected, right? So this one began at your general life. This is related to work somehow. And the last part is love. Maybe or not according to ascending or descending order of importance, but they are interconnected, right? So you said, do you feel any cards from any rows are talking to each other or connected? It could be, you could see it could be just a random feeling, or
I feel like, I don't know, all these three
in a specific order?
I don't know, it's like I'm looking away or I'm ready to go somewhere and it means change and I'm ready to just travel. I'm just ready to be out of the open. I don't know why this called to me.
I do understand why you feel that way. There is a sequence.
And then
because only by leaving behind, or rather not letting the quote-unquote 8 things in your life holding you back in life, are you able to accept, a real change towards the direction of being completely open as a traveler again. So that's the directionality that's happening in this 3-line sequence.
Like this one, I don't know why this one too. This one calls to me like, I don't
Specifically
know.
Just that card?
Well, actually those
or
two cards.
These 2 cards.
Yeah. And I don't know if it means like, I don't know why.
Is religion a very big part of your life?
I'll be honest, no. I just have faith right now.
Faith.
Like at first I was like very negative, and now I'm just taking life as we go.
So your faith comes from your son, or because either your son gives you faith, or you have faith because you have a son. I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense. It might be a motherhood thing. I wouldn't exactly know. Perhaps if I have kids one day, it'll be like that. Once again, the Hierophant either represents religion, represents society expectations, or like certain traditions that are passed down.
Well, maybe. Again, it feels like this is something like he's... Can I...
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, it's your card. It's your reading.
It's like he's saying something. It's like he's a voice or something. I don't know. It's like maybe not dictating, but it's like he's like representing something.
And it's related to your son, or more related to you towards your son.
Maybe I just want, to show my son that it's okay being who you are, or just I want like a motherly figure. Like I want him to see me like...
Do you see yourself in the card, the Hierophant, or you feel it's more of something there to tell you something?
It's like to tell me something. I don't know. It's really a weird feeling.
Yeah. Just shuffle and pick a random card. And we'll see what the Hierophant has to say. Just one card is fine. So I'm putting in cross because they're in relation, right? So how do you feel about this picture? Or just put it like that. The 2 of Wands.
It's like I'm looking somewhere again. It's like I'm looking like far away somewhere.
Are you looking in towards a physical distance, or are you looking towards a physical distance that represents time?
No, I think it's more like time. It's like I'm viewing something like far away, and I don't know if it's just time or if it's like...
Could it represent the plans you have for your son, or so how your work would affect your relationship with your son? Was that something that was on your mind, or not really a worry?
Well, it was a worry that I'm afraid that it might not tarnish my relationship with my son, but that maybe he...
The distance?
Yeah, the distance, that maybe he won't understand.
Sense.
Maybe he won't understand why I'm not there, if ever.
Okay. That would make sense then.
But then again, I believe that when 2 people talk to each other, it explains something.
Okay. So what next?
I'm wondering, this like... It's like in the middle of everything. Like all this, and this is in the middle.
Yeah. In one of my decks, Fairy Tale Tarot, which one of my friends just adores. Every time she's like, okay, please, you have to use that deck for me. It's totally like my vibe kind of thing. The 10 of Cups is represented by the abbreviation of Happily Ever After. So in the midst of all these things, there is like your version of what Happily Ever After may be. But it does also, once again, take into consideration everything that's happening here. And coincidentally, if you have no more queries that you want to ask out, you'll notice that other than the 10 of cups, there are also 10 cards on the table exactly. It's not something I planned for. I'm not sure if it's something you planned for, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's trying to say that when all 10 of these things are not necessarily resolved or fixed, but like, you know, taken into consideration and being handled the best way that you're able to handle it, you will achieve your definition of what happiness is. Maybe it's, you know, a job that can let you balance your life and your love. Maybe it's a love that can get you to work, and it's all tied in together basically, as you mentioned towards the earlier part of this reading that I've done for you.
Okay. I'm just so curious about this one.
This one again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because of the cards or because of the position representing love?
That too. Like both of them. Like I'm still serious, like asking myself what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that, like, I see my son, I don't know why, because I also saw myself in this one. And I see myself, I don't even know why. At the end, I'm wondering if in my love life is like, you know, my son, it will be like, it's not that he decides.
Yeah, I
but
understand.
if he's not happy, then in my love, like, everything has to be of him.
Okay. May I give you my interpretation of what I see right now? Now that you mentioned this, I do get a feeling that for some reason, if I was wrong and that the Emperor represents someone that is not in your life and someone you haven't met, it could represent, quote unquote, a fatherly figure for your son. Maybe your son needs another father. I'm not really sure if that's the right way to say things because I'm not really familiar with the whole shared custody thing. So I don't want to comment there. But once again, I still do feel like the Fool represents you from the way you describe your feelings and the description of what it represents. But at the same time, you notice, you see your son here and he's standing between you and the Emperor. So he either pulls you together or he pushes you away. It's not so much on he gets to decide, but he will be the reason for whether or not your ideal romance works or doesn't work. You know, so you either like ruin it in some way or pull it together in some way. So he plays a bigger role than you may think. If I pull him slightly up here and these two closer together, don't you feel he's kind of like a judge or someone who's like bringing them?
He does look like he's like...
Yeah. But the feeling personally getting and also like intuitively is that he will indirectly decide, but his level of indirectness is more direct than indirect, if for lack of better vocabulary. Whether it's because what he thinks matters, or, you know, if your son gets along with who you're seeing next really would give you more confidence, or rather take away the doubts that you may have.
Well, he does play. If he says to me, I don't like him, then for me that's there's no point.
Yeah. So that's also another reason why here there's motherhood, right? And this is represent the general life. So what if another way of interpretation is that if your general life is very much intertwined with your love life, the King of Cups and the Emperor could be two sides of the same coin of the same person. Because when you see someone in general life and you date someone exclusively, their personality doesn't change, but you see a different side of their face.
Like more mature and still like, I don't know, very young.
Something like that, maybe. It's just a different way that you could consider. As in, let's say if you're considering someone who you know has the qualities of the King of Cups, and he maybe eventually becomes in a fatherly position, then there's a link to that. But otherwise, maybe they're two different people.
Okay.
Anything else to close? Or we're good?
I'm so curious about this card.
Mm-hmm.
It really like attracts me a lot.
Okay. Once again, I'm giving you a very general interpretation of a card of death in career. Mostly, it's related to a big change. So it could be a change of mindset. It could be a huge change of salary. It could be change of location of where you have to live. It could be change of the time that you work. It could be doing something you've never done before as well, because that's a complete change. So it embodies all of it, or embodies any of it. Okay. So this ends my reading with Sophie. Was it Sophie or Sophia? And then we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully my tech crew will find through the missing gaps. Good luck to editing. Goddamn WestJet! The most stressful vacation of my life.